What's up, everybody? Welcome to some Sultai Vengevine. May all the Heejin crab triggers fall in our favor. Get some nice little Vengevines going in the graveyard. Let's get the chat closed out. Get the graveyard propped up. Now, as far as opening hand goes, oh man, you know, if we had like Lot Troll or something to kind of dump these prized amalgams, I'd be pretty tempted to keep on this one. But I think at this one, hey, you too. Get the chat closed out. Yeah, I think at this one we're going to go ahead and mulligan. I mean, we need some sort of enabler, and if we don't hit the land, we don't even have life from the loam. Yeah, let's go ahead and mulligan on this one. Yeah, we'll keep. I mean, not the best. We're on the draw. Blood Gas, let's definitely put that on the bottom right now. Maybe we'll draw into one of our graveyard pieces. If not, we'll kind of go from there. But yes, welcome to some Sultai Vengevine. We do at least have a Heejin Crab in the opening hand, so we can actually shock in the Watery Grave. And then get down Heejin Crab, and then have the fetch line down next turn to kind of go for that. Well, if we want to, we can actually, let's see, we draw, ooh, excuse me, never mind. We've got double Heejin Crab. Let's go ahead and shock the Watery Grave in. I was about to say we could hold off on Heejin Crab and maybe go for a turn, next turn, get down Gravecrawler. But no, we'll draw into another Heejin Crab, so I'll take that. So, next turn, we're looking at getting down Heejin Crab off the Watery Grave. We're going to be able to get down the Catacombs. That will be, that'll be 6 coming down once we make that land drop. Once we crack, grab our fetch. Grab our shock land or whatever we want to grab. That'll be another 6. That'll be 12 total cards in the graveyard. And then we'll have double Heejin Crab out there. Then if we want to, we can actually go Gravecrawler and then reanimate anything that we bring out. So, hopefully, keep our fingers crossed. We get some nice little Vengevines off this. Alright, let's go and get down the Heejin Crab first. And then double Heejin Crabs are just... I love it. Feels good. There's no better feeling in Magic. Let's go and send both of these triggers directed over to us. In response to these triggers, we're going to go ahead and crack the Marsh Flats because we don't want to mill away the land that we're searching up for. We definitely don't want to do that. So let's go and grab the Overgrown Tomb. We're definitely going to go and shock this in because we have Watery Gravecrawler in the hand. And then another 3 over here. Just like we drew it up. 12 cards in the graveyard. Love it. Alright, let's see what we hit. Keep our fingers crossed. This Dread Wanderer. Okay. Not looking so good. Let's see. Oh, bummer. Well, at least there's Stinkweed Imp and another Gravecrawler. So on this one, with the Gravecrawler, what we're going to be able to do is we're just going to hold on to Gravecrawler. We have another fetch line, so we're going to be able to retry next turn. We're at 40 cards. We're at 39 cards in our deck, so we've seen a third of our deck. So odds are we're going to start seeing those Vengevines here in a second. So next turn, we just kind of rinse and repeat and get the other fetch line down and then kind of get those Heejin Crab triggers going. So, you know, unfortunately, sometimes you're going to have little random spells like that. But between the Stinkweed Imp dredging that for 5, that's going to be 5 coming down. And then once we go for the, that'll be another 12 off the Catacombs. So we're really looking at about 17 cards going in the graveyard, which is just, oh, love it. Beautiful. And I'm trying to figure out what our opponent's playing over here. So we've got Arbor Elf, Voyaging Satyr, and then Birds of Paradise. A lot of little mana dorks over there, not a lot of lands. So, you know, at first I thought it was going to be Elves with Arbor Elf, but I'm not totally sure what we got going on. So, we'll see. Get the Catacombs down. That'll be definitely really nice play for that. So, it makes the crabs happy. We need to make sure that the crabs are really happy. They mill for us a lot. Oh, man. All right. So, let's get the Catacombs down. It's going to be 3. It's going to be 3. Let's go and crack the Catacombs. Okay. Oops, accidentally auto-yielded to that. Let's go to crack the Catacombs. We still should have a target in there. Yeah, we do. Alright, we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and get the Watery Grave. We're not going to shock that one in. We're at 14. There'll be another 3 coming across. Alright, so we hit one Vengevine, and then I accidentally auto-yielded to one of the crab triggers. So that it's kind of frustrating. We're going to kick it over to our turn. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, we accidentally clicked the F2 button, and we cycled through that. But, to be honest, we only hit one Vengevine out of the... we've milled an entire 2/3 of our deck out, and we've only hit one Vengevine. So next turn, we're going to be able to get down the Gravecrawler, go for that second Vengevine, and start going from there. I think what had happened is we accidentally auto-yielded to one of the Heejin Crab triggers, and it kind of just threw things for a loop. Alright, opponent's getting down an Overgrowth on the Forest over there. And then it looks like they might be playing against Lightning Bolt on there. Finally, some respect for Heejin Crab. Do we have any dredge options? Yeah, this is a really weird dredge. We only have one Vengevine, and there's no other dredgers. I mean, we've got one more Stinkweed Imp. We have a Life from the Loam. Drawn to Narcoviva. Okay, let's go and get the Urborg down. Let's send the Hedron Crab trigger first before we go for the Bloodghast trigger. At least we do have some, yeah, all the Vengevines are hanging out in the bottom of our deck. We've only got one Vengevine, but we're still going to get it going. Okay, we use the Bloodghast ability. That's going to pop back the Prized Amalgam, and then the other Prized Amalgam down at the towards the top of our graveyard. Let's go ahead and go for Gravecrawler. Actually, let's go Prized Amalgam, just hard cast. And then we're going to go ahead and cast the Gravecrawler out of the graveyard. We already have two Gravecrawlers in the graveyard, so we're going to hold on to this one just in case we need to recast something. And then we'll get our nice little Vengevine out there. You know, unfortunately, that you know, there will be some games where we go for a Glimpse Unthinkable and we hit 2 or 3 Vengevines, and we're like, hey, we're off to the races. And then you're going to have some matches where you've got almost 15 cards left in your library, and then we've only seen 1 Vengevine. So, but hey, that's how Magic goes. Sometimes you have good draws, sometimes you have bad draws. So, definitely not complaining about it, but just saying, odds are, probably should have seen a few more Vengevines over there. But we will make it work. Let's go and swing in for 4. We should have swung in for 4 earlier. Unfortunately, I clicked on the hit the F2 button, so do apologize about that. Swinging for 4. It's going to put our opponent down to 16. The Drunken Master, our opponent. I always love, you know, if you ever take a second just to kind of look at your opponent's names over there. Play gets some funny people sometimes. All right, swinging in for 4 puts him down to 16. Anything else? No, we're going to go ahead and pass the turn. All right. We're going to get the 2 Prized Amalgams coming out of the graveyard. That should give us a nice little board state to start swinging in next turn, especially since we don't have any Vengevines coming across. Other than that, we don't have any other dredge options out of the graveyard, so we're not really going to be able to put anything else. There's Breaking and Entering. We have 2 Breaking and Enterings in the graveyard and 1 Glimpse the Unthinkable. So, or actually 2. So we have 2 Glimpse the Unthinkables left in the deck. We have 1 Breaking and Entering. We do have 2 Life from the Loams. So we're going to be pretty see what we draw into. You know, even if we do draw into, well, if we do draw into Vengevine, we don't have access to double green, so we're gonna have to somehow find Life from the Loam. But I think at this point right now, we've got 10 points of damage between the Vengevine and the Prized Amalgam, so it's gonna be 10, 15. We have 17 coming across next turn, which would be lethal, assuming that they don't do any blocks. But you know, we're not gonna assume they're not gonna block. They're not gonna let us just swing across. So we'll see what they have. They do have the Forest with the Overgrowth on it, so whenever it's tapped for mana, it adds double green to their mana pool, and they're going to be able to untap it with the Arbor Elf and the Voyaging Satyr. So I don't know if this is Red-Green Valakut. We did see Lightning Bolt. Not Red-Green Valakut, Red-Green like Land Destruction. Ponza, that's what I'm looking for. Maybe it's Land Destruction, potentially. I'm not entirely sure. But so we got about 9 mana generated over there. So Tooth and Nail. We got Tooth and Nail by Voyaging Satyr and the Arbor Elf. Okay. Alright, let's see what they search up. 2 cards into the reveal zone. That's going to be Hornet Queen and Emrakul. Alright. And then, oh, Xenagos comes down to you. Alright, you got it, man. We'll save you a trigger. So what's going to happen is they're going to swing across an Emrakul. They're going to get the Xenagos trigger. It's going to have haste. They'll get an Annihilator. It's going to save them some clicking. Good game, man. Oh, man. Feels like I'm playing Commander. Love it. Alright, we're going to go and scoop this one up. Good game. I'll tell you, man. Hey, that's Magic. You know, sometimes you get stuck on, you know, a few just little mana dorks, and then you get a Tooth and Nail, and we don't hit our Vengevines, but hey, I love it. Beautiful. What are we going to go for? We could bring in Pithing Needle to start really kind of attacking some of their mana dorks. You know, the same argument, we could bring in Fatal Push on some of those too. Stubborn Denial could be brought in. Let's go ahead. Let's back off on 1 Stinkweed Imp. Let's go back on 1 Dread Wanderer. Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll bring in a couple Fatal Pushes. That way we can really start targeting those mana dorks. Anything else? We'll go down on 1 Lotlet Troll, bring in 3 Fatal Pushes. That way we can kind of stop the untap step. On the decks that really utilize, you know, if we weren't such an all-in graveyard deck, one thing that we could do, close one, needed the combo. Okay, we're going to play first, but yeah, when you're attacking some of these little mana-producing people like that, you want to always kind of attack their mana producers and untap the lands. It kind of really bottlenecks their ability to produce some mana. All right, now as far as opening hand goes, we have Gravecrawler, Bloodghast, Fatal Push. Yeah, I like this hand. You know, it's not the best. We do have at least 1 Gravecrawler and Glimpse the Unthinkable, so that's going to allow us to kind of dump 10 cards into the graveyard. If we do hit a Gravecrawler in the graveyard, we can cast Gravecrawler and then cast it out of the graveyard. which really allows us to kind of go from there. So yeah, I do enjoy it. Let's go, and we'll probably lead off with the Marsh Flats, get that down, and kind of search up a black-green source. You know, I guess we could, depending on what we draw into, we'll just go and get the, we'll still go and get the Marsh Flats down. You know, there's certain times where maybe if you draw into Hedron Crab, you maybe want to get the fetch lane down, but we did see Lightning Bolt earlier, and we'll just get it down like this. That way we'll just go ahead and search up at least a green source off this Marsh Flats. That way we can be online if we need to hardcast a Vengevine or something like that. And then fight the mono green tooth and nail, I guess. I don't know. I love it. And, you know, like, yeah, I enjoy Modern. I like to have fun in Modern. And, you know, certain decks, you know, if they're tier 1, you know, I'll run them through tier 1 stuff. If it's really a control style deck, I'll do different stuff. But matches like this, I don't know, it's kind of fun. I always enjoy, I play a lot in the tournament practice room, and there's some pretty cool decks in here. You know, it's a really cool, it's a really diverse meta, and there's some skilled pilots as far as their pet decks go, and it's always kind of fun seeing what people come up with. Alright, let's go and shock the Watery Grave into play. We're going to pay 2 on this. Yes, we are. Let's go. Glimpse the Unthinkable, targeting ourself for 10. Oh yeah, feels good. Alright, then we get a little bit better dredge off this one. That's good. I like that. I'm not dredge, but milling. We do hit a Vengevine off that. Unfortunately, didn't look like we hit any enablers out of the graveyard, so we're going to go on to pass the turn. Now, as far as next turn is concerned, any lands we mill out? No. We're running 2 Overgrown Tombs and 2 Watery Graves, so we're going to be able to get down the Catacombs and search up probably the double green source. That'll put us online for Narcomoeba and going for Gravecrawler, which will kind of bring back the Vengevine, which will give us a nice little turn 3 clock. You know, a 4-3 with haste coming out. It's always really nice. And let's see what we draw into. Draw into Life from the Loam. Yeah, let's go and go for it. Let's go. They don't have any sort of, we didn't hit a Prize Amalgam. Yes, we're going to use that ability. Let's go and get the Catacombs. Let's go and crack. Let's go and grab that Overgrown Tomb. Shock that in. Yes. And since we drew into Life from the Loam, it really kind of opens us up as far as what we want to do. Let's go and go Narcomoeba. Well, actually, we can just yeah, let's go Bloodghast. Actually, that'll be a better play. Go Bloodghast, and let's go and cast Gravecrawler. Get the Vengevine coming back out. So that's going to put us next turn at having 10 total mana swinging in. So we're going to be able to swing in for 4. It's going to put them down to 14, and then we'll have 10 on the back. Yeah, 10 on the back end, putting them down to 4. Anything else? No, we're going to go and pass the turn. And then we still have Fatal Push in the hand, so that way if they do get out an Arbor Elf, it's going to have Summoning Sickness. At least they're not going to be able to utilize the Overgrowth mana and the Utopia Sprawl. So we can kind of take them out from there. But yeah, you know, one of my favorite things about this deck is that you know, last game, we didn't really have a whole lot going on as far as the graveyard. You know, we milled about 2/3 of our deck out, and we didn't really see a lot of Vengevines. But for every moment you have like that, there's going to be moments where, like, you just glimpse yourself for 10, and the next thing you know, you've got 3 Vengevines in the top 10 cards of your library, and you just pop, like, a Gravecrawler real quick, and then the Gravecrawler out of the graveyard, and next thing you know, you're going to town. You got 3 Vengevines on turn 2 or something like that. I mean, it's definitely a really explosive deck, but you're gonna have moments where it just kind of falls flat on its face like that. But hey, man, you gotta fly close to the sun sometimes. And magic makes you feel alive. All right, so let's go ahead and before they get any sort of shenanigans with the Utopia Sprawl, let's go and go for the Arbor Elf. Let's get out of here, buddy. Don't mind you, Arbor Elf, but not today. Need to clear the way for our people. Arbor Elf, and then we'll have the Blooming Marsh play to get that down. What we'll probably do is we'll just go and wait. Then we can get the Blooming Marsh down next turn. That way we can return Bloodghast if they do decide to block on the Bloodghast. More than likely, we might see a block on Vengevine just to kind of stop that damage, but we'll see. If they do block on one of the Bloodghast, then we'll have the Blooming Marsh to get that down. If they don't, then we might go for Life from the Loam. Alright, pushing in for 10. It's going to be, yeah, they do block on Vengevine. It's going to be 6. Puts them down to 8. We did take care of their little Arbor Elf over there, and then also get Eternal Witness off the battlefield. So let's go ahead and get the Blooming Marsh down. So either way, I guess we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and go Life from the Loam. That way, you know, maybe they're running Pyroclasm in there or something. Maybe our Bloodghast go back in the graveyard. I want to make sure that we have the lane drop for the turn. We could go for Narcomoeba, but we already have lethal on the board. That's going to be 8. And so, I mean, it's going to be 10, excuse me. And so I'm okay with this one, making sure that we at least have the land drop for the turn. And then we can always stretch our Life from the Loam if we need to. Alright, so as far as their Stomping Ground goes, there's Utopia Sprawl and then the Overgrowth on there's tapping for 2. So they've got a little bit of mana over there. So they're going to have to get something going on the battlefield. Hornet Queen comes down. Alright, we're getting somewhere. The cool thing about playing this deck is that it you get a lot of recurring stuff. You know, it doesn't really matter if it dies or not. It's you can always simply just kind of recast it out of the graveyard. Let's go and dredge life from the loam, staring down a Hornet Queen over there. Just love it. Let's go ahead and get the, well, we can wait on the land drop. Let's go and push in. Yeah, let's go and push in on this one. We're going to send the whole crew in. We don't have, the only recursion out of the graveyard would be Gravecrawler, and we don't have a zombie right now. So we're not going to be able to get that back. If we do lose Vengevine, we need to draw into another zombie to get that going. At least with the Blood Gas, we haven't made the land drop for the turn, so if they chump out across the board, then we'll at least be able to bring back the Blood Gas coming back. And luckily, Hornet Queen is a little 2/2, so most of her added bonus comes from all the insect tokens she gets out there. So at least we're going to be able to kind of get rid of the tokens coming across. Alright, they're going to allow us to get in for 2. Coming in hot. Alright, lose a Vengevine, Gravecrawler in the graveyard. Let's go and get the land drop down. Return it back to our hands. And then on this one, we're just going to, well, so we'll have 4 coming across next turn. That'll be 5. We're not going to have lethal next turn. They're going to double block. I'm trying to figure out if we want to go for Narcomoeba or if we draw into another creature card, then we can hold on to it and then cast something. Yeah, let's go and hold on to it. I feel okay about that. We can still go ahead and Life from the Loam, though. Yeah, we'll go Life from the Loam. I'm not sure if we're going to dredge on this one, because if we dredge Life from the Loam, it'll go back to the hand, and there's for sure we're not going to be able to go for Vengevine. You know, if Narcomoeba was like a zombie or something, then maybe we could dredge something. But at least on this one, we're going to keep our fingers crossed that we draw into another creature card, anything. If we draw into Gurmag Angler, we have 3 of them in the deck. We can definitely delve some stuff away. And we're running right at about 30 creatures in this deck, so, you know, hopefully we should be able to get some sort of creature on the battlefield. Even if it's a, that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm pretty sure we still have at least 1 more swamp in the deck. So we may still go ahead and crack the Catacombs. That way we can get the swamp on the battlefield. Yeah, we haven't delved that away. So we at least have 1 more swamp in there. Because we do have Watery Grave and 2 Overgrown Tombs. So that'll be our last fetchable source, will be the swamp out of the library. In fact, let's go and do that now. Let's go and crack the Catacombs. There we go. Grab that swamp. And then anything else. See if we draw into a creature. That's what we're going for. Nope. Fatal Push. Well, it's not too bad. Let's not make the land drop yet. Let's go ahead and go Voyaging Satyr. We need to make sure that we keep Voyaging off the battlefield. You don't want to get that... Oh, man. For some reason, the little arrows are on Stomping Ground. I was like, oh, no. That would be target Stomping Ground with a Fatal Push. Kind of scared me for a second. All right. Let's go and swing it for 4. Hopefully we're going to force the chump block on this one. And they only have got 1 card left in the hand. Puts them down to 2. Anything else? No, let's go ahead and we'll go and get the Dark Slick Shores down, because these fetch lands are basically just useless at this point. This deck really does tap out at about 3 mana. That's we're only running 20 lands in here, so anything past that's all. You just really need 2 black-green sources, 2 black-blue sources, the Watery Grave, and then a few untapped lands. I mean, a few whatever you want to call them. What are they called? The fast lands. That's what we're talking about. Uh oh, that's never good. If you get that, that's okay. Well, okay. I thought our opponent was about to start casting something. I was like, you get the LOL in the chat. And you're like, come on, maybe they're just tired of drawing some lands. That might be it. All right. So let's see. Do we hit a creature? We do not need to do Life from the Loam. Do we hit a creature? Oh, Diregraph Ghoul. Beautiful. Who'd have thought? I would have wanted to see Diregraph Ghoul so bad. All right. I'm gonna go Narcomoeba. Let's go Diregraph Ghoul. I feel like I wish Diregraph Ghoul had a little bit different art. I think it looks kind of goofy. I play a lot of zombies, and that's always bothered me. I don't know. It's a funny looking zombie. It is. I mean, it just doesn't really look that scary. I don't know. It looks like an extra in a zombie. I mean, it's got a sword going through it, which is pretty cool. But all right, let's go and push in. We got Blood Gas and the Vengevine's coming across. Should be lethal. See if they've got Lightning Bolt or something like that. If they don't, if their last card is Lightning Bolt, they'll have to take care of one of our creatures, and then that'll still force them to chump block on the Hornet Queen and the Insect token. So coming across, send this over. All right, send it over to Game 3. But yeah, Diregraph Ghoul. It's kind of a goofy looking. I don't know what would make it better. Enters the battlefield tap. It just doesn't look like. I don't know. Like, you look at Lowlet Troll. That's a scary looking zombie right there. And then let's look at Gravecrawler. Yeah, I mean, you're scared of that dude. If you see the dude coming across, if you see Diagraph Ghoul, you kind of be like, well, you know, maybe we can get away from her. Just kind of sidestep her. I don't know. All right, anything else we want to change? No, I think I like that. The Fatal Pushes were pretty nice. You don't want to get the creature count down too low, and you also don't want to dilute your ability to dredge too bad. So I think we're just going to go and leave it the same. We're going to shift this one over to game 3. Hopefully we can survive the Hornet Queen again. Close one. Another lane lead. Hey, man. Well, we got there quicker. That happens sometimes. Bummer, man. Yeah, if we had some Vengevines in game 1, that might have been a little bit different story. We've got Blooming Marsh. We got Marsh Flats. We do have Breaking and Entering. We do have a Gurmag Angler, which will turn us online for some sort of Gravecrawler, Vengevine action out of the graveyard. Double Fatal Put. Yeah, we'll go and keep on this one. This is actually not that bad of a hand now that we've kind of had time to digest it. I do like it. One of my favorite cards in the deck is we're running Lowlet Troll. I've always enjoyed Lowlet Troll. It's one of I got in during Return to Ravnica, and it was one of my I built a green-black scavenge deck, and he was really cool. He was a rare, opened up in a pack, and so I've always had a very... Uh-oh. We got no land drop? Uh-oh. Alright, and drawn to Glimpse. Let's go ahead and let's get the Marsh Flats down. We're going to go and pass the turn. That way we can crack on our opponent's turn if we need to go for the... we can put it in play tapped, or we'll be online for Glimpse Unthinkable next turn. Hopefully they hit the lane drop. That's it's usually not fun if they don't hit the lane drop. Okay, get the forest down. But yeah, I've always enjoyed Lowlet Troll, and Lowlet Troll is really good in the deck in that you can sequence certain things to where you get down, like on turn 3, you get down Lowlet Troll, you chunk Prized Amalgam, maybe you chunk a Gravecrawler. You know, there's certain sequencing you do have to watch out for, is having a zombie on the battlefield if you're going to chunk a Gravecrawler off of Lowlet Troll. But there's a lot of fun in that, getting that down and going for it. I always enjoy it. Getting those creature cards in there, especially when you discard a Vengevine, then you cast a little dude out of the graveyard, and then boom, start going from there. All right, Watery Grave. So we drawn to a Polluted Delta. Let's go and get the Blooming Marsh down. Let's go and go Glimpse the Unthinkable, targeting ourselves for 10. All right, keep our fingers crossed through the Graveyard Gods that we get some nice little. Oh my goodness, is that 3 Vengevines? Yes, beautiful. That's what I was talking about earlier. Sometimes you get lucky and you get 3 Vengevines off that. All right, so we got some stuff to do next turn. We're going to be able to Polluted Delta. Draw the Narcomoeba. Let's go and get the Polluted Delta down. All right, let's go and crack. I'm going to sequence this. All right, let's go and crack the Polluted Delta. Let's go ahead and grab another black-green source. Let's go ahead and shock that Watery Grave. Overgrown Tomb into place. We're going to pay 2 life on this one. Let's go ahead and go Gurmag Angler. So we're going to go 1. At this point right now, first thing, when you're milling stuff, you can get rid of your non-pertinent creatures with Diagraph Ghoul. We don't really have a way to recur them. And then hold on to Swamp. We'll get rid of 1 Polluted Delta, and then another Polluted Delta. So get down the Gurmag Angler, get the Gravecrawler going. Oh, get the triple Vengevines. Oh, just beautiful. Yes. Yes. All glory be to the Sultai gods. Gravecrawler comes down. Let's go Fatal Push, just on Voyaging. Oh, beautiful. Love it. All right, we're going to swing in for 12. Coming in hot. It's going to put opponent down to, put him down to 8. Swinging in for 12. And then on the back end, next turn, we've got 19 coming across. Should be lethal, depending on what they get out there. But yeah, you can see where sometimes you'll have really explosive games by simply just going Glimpse for 10, and then you get some stuff in the graveyard like that. We did survive. Yeah, Dave, Vengevine's mad, man. Alright, puts our opponent down to 8, and then we get the Vengevines going. But yeah, you can see where you get some really nice mill action off some of the, breaking and entering, Prized Amalgams, different stuff like that. So there we go. Opponent scoops it up. Turn 3, we got triple Vengevines coming across. And this is what you're looking to do with the deck. You know, if you can get a few Vengevines in the graveyard, you want to just push in that Alpha Strike. One of the main differences between Dredge and Sultai Vengevine is that we're going for like an Alpha Graveyard Strike. If you can just have a turn where you deal about 10 or 12 points of damage to your opponent in one swing. You know, some of the Dredge stuff is like getting the Prized Amalgams out, slowly getting incremental damage out. But with Vengevine, you'll have these really explosive hands that just completely make it to where your opponent just really can't recover from like such a brutal swing like that. Our opponent didn't hit the lane drop for the turn, but no matter what they did, even if they just got down to like 2 Arbor Elves or something like that, turns 1 and turn 2, we would have been able to kind of push past that and really apply some some damage to our opponent. All right, everybody, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.